All right, let's talk for just a minute about literal equations. So the pictures of the full notes are in Canvas, but I did want to do just a couple quick examples. So let's say I'm doing a problem like 2x minus 4y equals, let's say 18, okay? So when you're solving for these, they have to tell you what variable you're looking for because there's more than one. So we are going to, in this case, solve for x, okay? It is important to note that you could solve for x or y in this problem. There are two different options, but right now, I'm gonna go ahead and solve for x. I think it's a really good idea to identify what you're solving for and really kind of be aware of that. So if the letter is confusing you, pretend it's a number for a minute. Instead of 4y, pretend that's 44, okay? Because if I'm trying to isolate x, the first thing I would normally do if this was a 44 would be to add it, right? If it was just a plain old number. I'm gonna do the same exact step here. Instead of having a 44, it's a 4 with a y. It's okay, it's still the same step because that's what's gonna cancel that out. So I end up with 2x equals, and here's where it gets kind of different, is you can't actually add 18 plus 4y. It does not work. So, and the reason it doesn't work is because they are not like terms. So it just stays 18 plus 4y. I'm going to make a note to myself, not like terms. Okay, if you were thinking that it should have gone to 22y, you were forgetting all that work that we did getting like terms and talking about like terms, okay? So now, again, I'm going to imagine I'm trying to isolate x. So if I'm trying to isolate x, I'm going to divide by 2. But here, it's a little different. I've got to divide the entire side by 2, okay? Now, we talked about in class, at this stage, those will cancel out. I am completely okay at this stage in your math career with you just saying 18 plus 4y over 2, okay? If you want to be a little bit better, so this is totally okay, this is fine, I'm not going to take points off for that. Just like multiplication distributes, division also distributes. So I'm going to say, okay, really, x equals, well, 18 divided by 2 is 9, and 4y divided by 2 is plus 2y. So I just distributed those values and it totally works exactly the same. So this one is just a little bit cleaner, has a little bit extra to it. It would be an advanced answer. In a few weeks, you have to go here, okay? So next one. Let's take the same exact equation, 2x minus 4y equals 18. But this time, I want us to solve for y. Okay, so I can take that same exact equation that I was just dealing with. Sorry, I've got stuff in my way here. I can take that same exact equation, but now instead of isolating the x, I want to isolate the y. So let's see what happens here. Again, any other letter you're just going to view as a number. So instead of 2x, you can view that as 21, okay? We'll call it 21. So if I'm going to isolate y, I'm going to get rid of this number first to cancel out a positive 2x or positive 21, if that's how you're thinking of it. I'm going to subtract 2x so that it cancels out, okay? I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So now I'm left with negative 4y equals, well, what's 18 minus 2x? It is 18 minus 2x. You cannot combine them because, again, they are not like terms, all right? So we're good at this point. Now I'm still trying to isolate y. So, okay, to get rid of that negative 4, we're going to divide by negative 4. And again, divide the entire side by negative 4. So I am completely okay if you just leave it as 18 minus 2x, the entire thing divided by 4. That is completely acceptable at this stage for the next couple of weeks. Or If you want to be really awesome, then you go over to the next step and you distribute. I'm going to go, okay, 18 over divided by -4. Well, that doesn't work out clean. So I'm just going to leave it as 18 divided by -4. Now we get a little bit of a tricky situation happening here because you've got a -2x divided by a -4. Doesn't work out clean. So I'm going to leave it as 2 over 4. But those double negatives, I do know that they go ahead and become a positive. So I'm going to change that to a plus because I had a -2. Remember, if it helps you to write this as plus a -2, a -2 divided by a -4 is going to end up being positive. This x right here, I can put it up here in the numerator, or you can just slide it out to the side of that fraction. Okay? Now, this one has another extra step. Okay, so this would be like pretty good. You at least distributed and cleaned up the negative. But if you wanted to keep going with it, you could even be like a super all-star and say, okay, you know what? 18 over -4, I can simplify that down to -9 over 2. If I just simplify that fraction, divide those both by 2. And then 2/4. You should, I hope, recognize that that simplifies down to 1/2. And then we still have our x right there. Okay? I can't combine those together because I've got one without an x and one with an x. So this is like the check, absolutely amazing. You did everything you possibly could have done. If you went to -4.5, that's fine. Improper fractions and decimals are totally both equally good in algebra. And then if you took this to 0.5, that's okay. But make sure the front one is a negative and the back one is a positive, okay? All right, I hope that kind of helps. Good luck.